Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. We are going to finish the book today. She wraps up the book with talking about the 5 seconds in relationships and then just 5 seconds overall and reminding you about the rule. And she basically says this: if you ever have an instinct or a feeling, there's 2 different types of feelings. We've talked about that. But like, I should do this, I need to do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you need to get up and move. That's what we're going to talk about really quick. We're going to end the book, and then we're going to wrap up the rest of the year with how to set smart goals. Writing things down, asking yourself why, eliminating some things that you might have written down, and actually getting specific. That is what we're going to dive into for the rest of the year. So, good morning. It's a little bit later in the morning. We were chatting with my mother-in-law, and we still have some house projects going on, so it was a little bit of a busy morning. I'm going to lower you a little bit. So we've got a lot of things going on. Oh, for those of you who were on yesterday and you watched my stories, we did get the poop issue fixed, our septic system. We bought this house, and it actually was really barely lived in for 20 years. So the house was built. The man that built the house had passed away. His wife didn't really live here. Anyways, the septic system is great, and it was built for a small, we have a big family, and we have people over all the time, and clearly our septic system needs an upgrade. So we are going to pray, and it's going to work all winter. We got some things fixed yesterday, and then we're going to probably redo some things in the spring. All the poop conversation. And it's not even about keto. We could have a conversation about poop and keto too. Anyways, we can flush our toilets. It's great. Okay, so here's what we are doing. We are going to wrap up this book, which I would love to know. Do you feel like the 5-second rule is helpful? Have you used it in anywhere in your life with anything? If you are brand new, here, I promise you this, as soon as we get to the beginning of the year and we're back into a normal routine, especially with school and things, my lives will be much earlier. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you watch on replay. I would prefer to do them earlier in the morning because I should be starting school, but we're taking a break from school. All is great. And so therefore everybody slept in and I just did other things this morning. Not that you care, but I will have them earlier in the mornings. And the point is to get your mindset so that you're thinking positively. You've got something to think about, a question, a thought that's not crazy chaos, right? Just to help you understand that your mindset is important. So in this 5-second rule concept, basically the entire book, she talked about your whole life, right? Physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, in any area of your life. When you feel like you should do something, act upon something, not do something, say no to something, say yes to something, go to the gym, make a better choice. You've got 5 seconds before your feelings start kicking in, and then you probably won't do the thing that you need to do, or you will grab the thing that you probably shouldn't grab and eat it. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, actually one of my very best friends from high school. Her and I reconnected. She stopped over. We haven't seen each other in 20 years. I can't believe I didn't take a picture. I take pictures of everything. Anyways, her and I were talking about ketones. I am going to get to the book in a second. And she was like, you know what's crazy? Sometimes with, let's say, any diet, she's like, Stephanie, I've done everything. How many of you could probably say, yep, I've done everything under the sun, right? I've done every diet. I've tried all the things, all the drinks. And she was like, first of all, we had a great conversation about ketones. She's loving them, right? She's like, it's so funny because we think that we can just do it all by ourselves, right? It's not a big deal. We can do it. I can lose the weight by myself. I don't need to drink anything. I don't need support. I know what to do. And so we just had this conversation, and she's like, it's the awareness conversation. She's like, I've never been more aware that people just need tools to help them on their journey, whether it's 5 seconds, whether it's ketones. She's like, you just have to be able to go 5 seconds before you eat that, or 5 seconds before you drink something or go someplace or don't go to the gym. We live in such a fast-paced society that we want results right away. We want to make a decision right away. We're not willing to either think about it or ponder on it or pray about it. Like, we just move so quickly that we don't give ourselves time to think. We need to think. We need to ask questions. We need to go, is this a good choice or is this not a good choice? Like, what am I about to do here? And if you can just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put my shoes on and go to the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm actually going to take a second and think about this before I react. I'm going to respond. Anyways, we had an incredible conversation. Clearly, there are my dogs. What would a life be without 4 dogs barking? And I just was like, you know what? Now more than ever, in this fast-paced society, in a world full of Insta, we need to teach people how to think for just a split second, or like respond, or stop feeling like I don't feel like it. Your emotions don't need to control the way that you act. If you know what you need to do, you need to do it, right? All right. The last part of the book, she talks about the power of enriching your relationships. And so she just takes the 5-second rule and and you want to know what's so interesting? I was reading through this. She tells a ton of stories. I'm not going to read them to you. But think about this time of year, right? Christmas, New Year's, ending the year. It is a happy time for many and a not a happy time for many. The man that was pumping on our septic system, he's in his 70s, sweetest man ever. Oh my goodness. And he had the saddest look on his face. And he had just lost his wife this fall of cancer. And I want you to know, this ties to what she says. And I'll tell you this in a second. She says this. She says, people need to understand in life, right? Whether it's with your spouse or your kids or anybody that you have a relationship with. She was talking to a man, and one of the most powerful things that this older gentleman taught her was leave nothing important unsaid. So she takes the 5-second rule and she says, leave nothing important unsaid to those that you love and to those that you care about. She says, intimacy takes courage. Risking getting emotional or upset with somebody because you want to express yourself can be scary, but the results are magical. And so she goes on and tells stories about moms and dads and relationships and people and how they didn't want to cause emotion, but they needed to say things to people, whether it was just an I love you, or I see you, or I am proud of you, or hey, are you open to a suggestion? We often hold our tongue because we're afraid to say something to people. We're not sure how they're going to take it. And so she just says, here's the deal. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to read the stories to you, but she says, don't ask that. She wasn't going to ask something because she thought it was going to upset her dad. She basically wasn't going to say something because she's like, I don't want to upset him. But she did. She asked the question and she says, are you scared? So the whole story is he needed to have a surgery. She wasn't going to ask him a question because she was afraid of what the answer would be. And then she said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I have to ask because I have to know. Leave nothing unsaid, right? Not like, I think you're a terrible person. Like things that you want to say to somebody, but maybe you're afraid you're going to cry, or maybe you're afraid of how they're going to respond. It's things said out of love and thought. And she says, so I asked the question with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I kept it light and positive. Don't stress out, he says. Everything's going to be okay. That was the push moment. Leave it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then she said, Dad, are you scared? I just want to have a great conversation with you. It was the most important, beautiful moment she said she ever had because she shared something with her dad that she actually wasn't gonna say. She said, I took the 5-second rule. I would not have found my courage to ask my dad the question. I just sat there in the back seat in the cab and I took it all in and I let him talk. She says, waiting for the right time to get real in your relationships is a fool's errand. There is no right time to have a conversation, ask a hard question, say I love you, or take the time to truly listen to people. There's only right now. So, like I say all the time, the book is great. There's tons of stories that you can read. 5 seconds of courage can change your life. She says, it only takes 5 seconds to change your life in so many different areas of your life. Financial, of saying yes or no to something. Physical, 5 seconds to go to the gym or not go to the gym, or eat something or not eat something. Relationships, 5 seconds to call somebody out of courage and tell them how you feel or that you're proud of them. 5 seconds in emotional, like spiritually, like maybe you need to go to church. Maybe you need to open up a book, and maybe you need to, there's so many things that we don't do out of fear that you're just letting your life pass by. So that's what she talks about for the rest of this chapter. She tells a ton of stories and basically just says, in any area of your life, the 5 second rule, leave nothing important unsaid, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and say it. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So, and then the last little bit says this. You've always had the power, my dear. You just have to lean in and learn it for yourself. And so, again, more stories. The answer is simple. They know the secret to greatness. When your heart speaks, honor it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Take action. They also know the alternative, and that is terrifying, missing out on all that you have meant to become. Living on autopilot and swimming right past all of the magical opportunities and joy that your life could offer. And the greatest risk of all is dying before you actually push yourself to live. So, I don't know what it is for you, whether you this next year need to work on relationships or physically. A lot of you are here to look a certain way or to feel a certain way, right? Finances, spiritually, whatever it is that you need to work on, you're going to need the courage to work on it. You're going to need to get out of like, I don't feel like it, and take action. The key is action. The key is action, right? There is greatness inside of you. The time is now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So what we're going to do for the rest of the year is we're going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out a piece of paper. We're going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, write down everything that we want to do this next year. Then we're going to talk about the why behind them. Then we're going to eliminate some things. And then we're going to get specific and smart. Put times to your goals, right? We're going to write them down. If you don't write them down, the likelihood of you reaching your goals is unlikely. When you write, you invite. When you write, you take it in. It's just another way of like, I'm committed to myself. I'm going to do this. So I'm committed to doing lives with you. I'll do it tomorrow. We're going to start it off. We're not going to wait until January. We're going to start right now, right? And my encouragement to you is think of things that you've been wanting to do. It doesn't matter what spoke. I talk about spokes as a tire, right? Your life is like a tire. And you've got the spokes, like we talked about, the physical, spiritual, relationships, financial, whatever I missed, emotional, right? And if one of them is broken, it's going to affect the other ones. And so in this setting goals, he talks about balance. And he talks about you can't just have goals for your physical and expect these ones not to fall apart. You can't just have crazy financial goals and not work on your relationships. So he also talks about looking at all of your things. We're going to talk about all of the spokes and just having an awareness of your goals this year. Why do we think that the only goal we should have this year is on our health? If we're so focused on me, which isn't bad, right? If you need to lose 100 pounds, it's important, but it's also important that you express in your relationships why you're doing it, that you've got their support, financially, that you understand where you're at, spiritually, like you're working on your mindset. So there's so many things to just going, I want to lose 100 pounds, right? And so that's what we're going to dive into. So continue to tune into the page. Again, the page is full of different keto tips and tricks for you as you need them. Otherwise, send me a message and I'm here to help. So I hope you have an incredible morning. Always here to answer your questions the best that I can. And that's it. So we'll talk to you guys very soon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go take some action.